So shall we start? Good morning to everyone.
Yes, sir.
Anyone remember what we discussed in the last class?
Conformity.
Conformity. So what is conformity? What you understood from our class?
Okay now.
What is conformity? Anyone can answer. Anyone can give an explanation for what is conformity? Anyone?
A change in behavior or belief according to others. We can change the behavior without our access.
Yeah, somewhat correct. So, but when we are explaining, like what you have said is correct, but it will give multiple meaning to a person, to a layman. If someone, as a layman, is listening to what is conformity, what you said is right, but they will make a multiple interpretation. So we have to give the boundary for the concept. So conformity, when we explain, it is a kind of social influence. Okay, it is a form of social influence that we what we change our beliefs, our attitudes, or who we are actually for some other demands or some other need. Yeah, when a person does something to be accepted by a group or social pressure. Yeah, it's a good way of saying. So we are keeping it. A person is doing something, but that person, we don't know whether the person wants to do it or not, but the person is doing it. But if the person alone, that person won't do it like that. But in the group, the person is compelled to do that because that person has to conform with the group. Otherwise, the person will be stand alone. Okay. So we were almost finishing conformity. So who conforms? That is the topic we were talking. 10.3.3. Okay, 10.3.3. Who conforms? So in that, there is two important concepts that we have discussed in the last class. Reactance and asserting uniqueness. Who is more influential, men, women? No. There is no gender difference in influencing a human. It's about certain qualities. But we have discussed. We will discuss more on that thing. There is nothing regarding with the gender, sexuality, language. Yeah, maybe something, yeah, a lot of do with the language, but another way, size, nothing. It's more of a skill. It's more of the skill of the person who possesses. So who conforms in that area? We have two more concepts, which is reactance and asserting uniqueness. So reactance is again, it's another kind of psychological activity. Is my whiteboard visible to you? Is my whiteboard visible to everyone? So please, no one write anything on it. Okay, you have access to that, I think so. Otherwise, I need to change. Yeah, no, lot of things are coming. So I will stop presenting. Okay. Yeah, a lot of. I thought I will use the whiteboard. Anyway, I will do the notes. Okay. Pretty much better. Is the document visible to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So reactants. This is what it is. Reactants. So reactants is a psychological process. If we add this word to it,
క్లాస్ ఏడా
psychological reactant.
ఇటు కూడా లేదు
Okay, psychological reactants. So psychological reactants is again it's a kind of sense of freedom and self-efficacy. So we see more this psychological reactants among adolescents, adults, and emerging adolescents that if they feel, if they get the sense of someone is controlling them or someone is telling them or asking them to go against their wish or something, they will go, they won't do it, they will resist. Okay, we call it rebellious, being too rebellious or something like that, but it is technically psychological react. So when they feel threatened or when they feel someone is dominating or controlling them, they show that rebellious behavior. So in psychology, we call that kind of behavior as psychological reactance. So the people who have that high psychological reactance, they won't conform much even to a group. Okay, they won't conform much to a group. So that is there. So that is one thing about conformity. The psychological reactance is existing, then we have to be careful which person is having high psychological reactance. So there is a possibility that person does not conform with the group. So another one is asserting uniqueness, which means uh, they want to. Some people they don't want to be identified as a part of group. They want to stand apart. They want the limelight, that attention that need to be that projected from the group. So to be perceived different, to be perceived by the society as a different person, as a unique person, someone different, such people also won't conform with many things. We see these particular both psychological reactance and asserting uniqueness among adolescents and adults. They don't conform with the social norms. They don't follow the family rules. They don't follow. It's not like they don't follow. They have a kind of tendency to behave differently, either as a uh, part of their rebelliousness that we can call psychological reactance, or it may be a part of asserting uniqueness. in layman word we call it show off, but it is not. They are being showing off. They want to put themselves as a unique person by dressing differently, by appearing differently, or talking in a different way. Anyway, every way that we can see a dramatic and drastic change in adolescent to adult stage, that they will change completely. So that is also that is part of asserting uniqueness. So this is two last 2 points in conformity. Okay, everyone is clear about psychological reactance and asserting uniqueness. Clear? Any doubt? We'll move to the next topic. Repeat once again, which portion? Reactance and asserting uniqueness, which one? Both. So we'll explain both again. So psychological reactance is being rebellious. In our German term, we can say being rebellious. They people who are rebellious, simply take an example in your mind, people that you know. If they feel that they are threatened, okay, if they feel they are threatened, they will rebel, they will resist to whatever the demand is coming to them, or whatever the command, or whatever the whatever whoever is asking them to do something. And if they feel that their freedom and their self-esteem, confidence, such things are in a threatening situation, they will show a resistance towards not conforming to that request or demand or whatever it is. So that resistance, that rebellious behavior, we call it psychological reactance. It's part of conformity. When we look at people who don't conform, or people who are not easily what mm, they don't want to be threatened with their freedom. That is basic thing. That is psychological reactance. And asserting uniqueness is standing apart from the group, even they are alone, even they are isolated, even they are not part of the group. They want that uniqueness, that I am standing apart. So the whole attention will be to the one person. If you are in a group, the group is there. There is no individual identity. When you're in a group, there is no individuality. It's your individuality shared among the group. That is why when in the crowd or in the mass, when in the context of a mass people or crowd, if there is some violence or something, vandalism or something happen, we can't pinpoint a particular person that you did it. And the person when when they engage in the vandalism or in that you can see when that's protest kind of things happens, when it go very physical, people damage public properties and everything, but they know they are doing something wrong against the society, against the community, but they don't feel the guilt because they know that it is done by a group. I'm not only the part of this activity, it is done by a group, though that feeling of guilt won't be existing there, kind of reduced, because it is not me only. So so that individuality won't exist in the group. So same thing happens if you when we achieve something, when we achieve something. For example, when in a game or something, football, cricket, such things, the everyone have equal importance of winning, or either winning or losing the game. So they will both take the responsibility. So again, we can't keep one person. Okay, one person as a particular thing. So people who want to be separated from that kind of identity, that I don't want to share my individuality with a group, which will make me invisible. So they want to be, such people want to be stay unique. So that feeling of being unique, standing apart from the group. So they also won't conform. Okay, they also won't conform. So mass and crowd, that we will discuss in the later chapter. We will go there. So I think reactance and asserting uniqueness understood. So we'll go for compliance, shall we?
Yes, sir.
Sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you for so much feedback. I need that feedback. So next topic we are discussing is compliance. Okay,
Excuse me, sir.
sorry.
Sir, can you please increase your volume?
Can you? I won't be able to increase my volume, but if it is possible, can you increase the volume in your device? Because that
Okay,
is
sir. Okay, no problems. Thank you.
because my volume is regulated this by the software, so I can't increase. I think it's already increased. Yeah. So compliance. So it's another way of social influence. Okay, it's another way of social influence. So how this work is, we conform or we obey to a person's request or expectation. For example, if like our parents expect us to study well, so whether they tell us or not, we obey it. It is compliance. Okay, so we know that they have an expectation. In school, when the teacher say that you have to do this homework, or when they say like if you can do something like this, it will be an interesting experiment. So some students will do it. Why they do it? So they feel they have that the teacher have an expectation, or whoever, some people have an expectation, and if we do that, they feel happy, and that will make them happy. It is not in the way of selfishness. It's more of getting validation, acceptance, such kind of things are there. Okay. So, or request also. So either through making through the form of expectation or request. Okay. So making a person doing something with either using expectation or request. So this is a kind of persuasion. Okay, it's a kind of persuasion, kind of conformity. It's a form of social influence. We can call all this. So how this work? Okay. So there are certain things that exist in these things. Who, what, how, and to whom. These things are important. Okay. Who is the person is saying or making the request or making the expectation. So who? That is very important. If the person, whether the person is close to one, a significant one, that a person who is valuable, very important in their life. So that is very important. And the credibility of the person, lot of things. Like for example, if you have some doubt regarding social psychology, some people may ask me, why, who I'm teaching social psychology. That is one thing. So I am a trustworthy person. What? So in who all those things are coming. Okay, like trustworthy, he have the credibility that I have done my degree, PG, and now I'm doing PhD in psychology. So yeah, there is some credibility. Expertise, okay, I think so. Some other things are there. Okay, so that makes who. Okay, then comes what. So in what, it is the content, yeah, the content of the message. So again here there is a message we are taking. That is the starting part, or the communicator, so not the message. Communicator, then message or content, then how it is transferred, how the message is transferred. So there are multiple things also. There is purely reason based, like our class. It is very content oriented, theoretical, academical. So there is nothing emotional. Okay, there is nothing emotional. And the other part, there won't be any reasoning, such kind of things, but it's purely emotional. When we are being with someone very close to us, very so close, our family or friends or partner, something like that. And to whom? Who is at the receiving end? Okay. Whether the person is adult or a child or an elderly person or a student or family, experts, to whom, that is also important. So these things determine the compliance process. Okay, compliance process. So it can be, so for example, we are taking communicator as a teacher and message content as a rhyme or a song or poem, and the reason is there is no emotional aspects to reasoning. There is, when I'm saying there is not emotional aspects, it is not like we talk like robot faculties. There is emotion kind of thing, but not emotional. They have to be professional. They have to be professional. Okay. So that the reason exists for their logic, they have to be follow their protocol as a teacher. There is model code of conduct, lot of things. So the reason is working there. And to whom? Kids, students. So what are the possibility of compliance of students? It will be high. Okay. So in another way, in another case, a person is talking in a, talking about something. Okay. Random person. You don't know the person. You were walking in the busy street, so you saw someone talking something, and the person is saying something uh, which is related to himself. Okay. Something related to himself and something related to his life or his past or something, and it's mostly related with the emotion, and that is mostly related with his personal emotion. So it's a kind of venting out, or he is saying something like that. And to whom? A group of people, which is a street. So we can call crowd. It's a moving group of people. So it's a crowd. Crowd will always move. Okay. So crowd is there. It's a moving people. So what will be the compliance of these people? There. So this way we can make interpretations. We can't say that if in the street no one will listen, maybe someone will listen. So we can identify, okay, if in a crowd someone is doing this and some person is standing and listening. So that person is easily connected with emotional content. So that content and how. So these two things makes very important things. Okay. And who and to whom is also there, but in certain aspects, what, how. So mostly what and how is very important because the message, the content, and the way it is delivering can make different things. Maybe the communicator, the who is not a very famous person, and to whom is maybe a general audience, but the content and the way it is, whether passion or emotion, the people may get attracted to that, they feel compliance to that person. So that is it. So these are the major factors: who, what, how, to whom. Who is the communicator? What is the content or what is the message, and how? How? Not only reason and emotion. There are whether it is a personal content or whether it is going through media or it is something else. So different kind of contents and reason, but emotional thing. So all these things. Then and group effect. In group effect, uh, is it clear to everyone? What we discussed, is it clear? Okay. To read more. Okay. So then now how compliance work in group effect when a group is existing. So when in group effect in compliance. So compliance is always high when it is a group, not a crowd or mass. Mass also there, not a crowd. A group, a classroom, or a family, or a club, or a associations, lot of things. Okay, or a, if you are taking a big political party, the compliance will be high because uh, they voluntarily adopted the identity of the group to their self. So that the differentiation between the group identity and self will is kind of invisible there. So it is kind of merged. So whatever the group say, the person will obey. So mostly in group, compliance will be higher, but there are exceptions. There are certain cases, people who have psychological reactance, like we discussed in the previous thing, or people who want to be suddenly someone wants to be feel like I want to be unique, I want to be stand apart, or suddenly someone is thinking like they are having a kind of resistance. They are not feeling good anymore with the group decision. Yeah, such people, people who have that kind of qualities or that kind of psychological processes, they differ from the group decisions or group compliance. So usually in group, compliance are high, but in certain cases, because of psychological reactance or the need of asserting uniqueness, they will go against, not go against, they won't comply with. It's not against. Either maybe they won't do, they will be inactive, they will be absent. It is not like they do violent things. They don't want to be part of the group decisions or whatever group is demand. Clear about the group effect? Group effect in the compliance. Clear? We'll go for, thank you so much. So there are, now we are going to the one of the most interesting concept in well, not only concept, it's a very interesting tactics that we use in many situations. So techniques of compliance. Okay. So there are a lot of different kind of techniques, and those are very famous. Some of you working in big companies may know, HR people who did MBA in organizational behavior. Those people may know. Okay. So there are different techniques that we can make a person do something. Okay. That the psychologist trick, so-called psychological tip or something like that. But these are not tips. These are proven methods. Okay. These are psychologists have experimented with these methods and they have got results. And based on those results, social psychologists have agreed that okay, there are certain techniques that we can make someone or people to do certain things. Okay. So one of the first is the foot in the door. The foot in the door. This is what the technique door. This is the name of this technique. Foot in the door. So how this technique works is, imagine foot in the door. Literally imagine the foot. Door is a big, large space, and foot is a small entity. So you are putting a small entity on a big thing. So how it works is, people initially, if a person wants to something from someone. Okay. So they start with a small request or small favor. So when the small favor is rejected or accepted, whatever it is, they will give the actual bigger one. So how it works is, when we this technique not always work. Okay, it works in certain situations. When we give a small request. So if they reject it, okay, if they reject it, we put the larger thing. So because they have rejected the thing, they won't suddenly reject the second request also. So in that moment, we can give some other verbal persuasion and make the person comply to that. Or if the person is accepting the initial thing, through that initial uh, small request, we will go to the higher one. Okay, so this is the foot in the door method. So in salesman people usually do this method, like they start with the small material products, and using the small product, they make the person comply, kind of in the verge of buying something. And when they feel like, okay, next I can go with my main thing, and they will take the main attractive kind of thing and put it forward, the chance of resisting from the other person will be less, because that person is in the verge of being comply to that person's request, and that little bit more push of some emotional or something, like the person will fall for it. So that is one, foot in the door technique. So another one is low ball technique. Low ball technique. This is again another kind of compliance, making a person doing something, or making, if we want the person do something, get something, we will do that. But it's not a kind of appreciated way of doing. But many people, we have seen many people have doing this also. It's like they will make a, initially they will start with a very good offer, very good offer, a very good deal. When the target accept the in between, power went off. So sorry. Is it clear? Is it visible? Is the PPT, is the document visible to everyone? Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. So the law ball technique. So when the person accept the offer, then they will shift it. Then they will shift what actually the person wants to buy or wants to get it. They will make the person agree to their offer or their request. Once the person agree to their request or their offer, then they will they will make some less, they will take the person to the less advantages which actually they wanted to give or make them do, they will take it to them. Okay, so that is law board technique. It will take some time for you to understand the differences between these techniques and to even to practice also. So take a lot of time to read these methods. Okay, it is not easy. The next one is door in the face. Okay, so door in the face is the most common way of complaints that we consciously or unconsciously we do every day in our life. Okay, we are all the culprits. We are all culprits of this technique, door in the face. So how door in the face is like we give a big offer. We give a big offer that they don't expect. Okay. They give a big offer that they can't resist, they can't deny, they can't do anything. They fall for it. We know that big point and we give that kind of offer or something like that. So when we got to know that they fell for, or they are obeying, they are compiled, the compliance is working there, we give the request or we make them do the actual thing that we actually want to do. That offer is a kind of a bonus that usually works with the in the organization settings. We can see like the boss or manager may give a big offers. So the principle of reciprocity, that is actually working here. Okay, principle of reciprocity. The principle of reciprocity. So reciprocative behavior. So I got something. So now I can't say no to something that you all know. So this is that method is called door in the face. The principle of reciprocity. Remember, okay. The principle of reciprocity. This principle of reciprocity means If a person receives something from someone, they will always have a conscious or non-conscious, whatever conscious state they are. They will be having a kind of depth or kind of things towards them. So that's what usually people say, that like, don't receive anything for free. Because if we receive something for free, it may be free, but if the person who gave that, if they take the accountability of, I gave you this, then we won't be able to deny the reciprocity, that we have to do something for them. So the favors are very dangerous. So that's why in consultations also, when we practice as a psychologist, when you we are only allowed to take money, cash, or that as a fees. Only monetary transaction is only allowed between the client and therapist. No other transactions. So we will fix a rate, and we will do the sessions. So they will pay us, so that debt is clear. We offer the service, they paid, done. That boundary is set. If it doesn't work like this, so if it is not like that, then there will be some other transactions happen. So there will be a chance of compliance between two people, and it will harm the therapy, or it will harm the session. So door in the face is there. And next one is that's not all technique. Okay. So that's not all technique means, again, it's like another, in some way it looks like a door in the face, but it doesn't, it is not like that. We make a request, or we make some favors or demand something. Before they can say yes or no, before they say something, we start giving them something. Like, for example, if you are going to a big to buy a car or something, like shopping mall or something, like they will provide you with some free things initially, that to experience what it is. So, and then take you to the next thing, that there are more that you can explore. So that's not all. It's not ended. They will give, initially they will give, before they say yes or no, whether we ask whether you want it or not, compliments we give them, or something like that we give them. So, and it would be usually, it is more pleasant or something. And when they get surprised, or when they get interacted with that, then we say there are more, there is more. Okay. In the case of request, again, we'll do small request, and make them understand, like it's only small things only. They will say, like, little bit is more. That is not all. So that is one, that is not all technique. So the next one is which one? Explain with example. Is it clear? Is it all clear? There is one more thing. Till now, is it clear for everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. The next method or next technique is playing hard to get. Playing hard to get. So how this works is like we know a thing which is very common doesn't have much value. So we keep the things and we say it is very difficult to get. It is very rare. It is very demanded. We'll make that my time people do with their time sometimes. Like I'm not available. I am too hard to access. I am very hard. I'm not that easy to access for you. So uh, some products, in the case of marketing, some products we say this stock won't come like other stocks because it's a very demanded product. It's a very demanding product. Once it is done, then you have to wait for another months or year. So making it hard to get is one way to make people compliant. Okay, they say that they will fall for that request or whatever. Okay, so playing hard to get is another thing. And next one is deadline technique that everyone is very much familiar with. So how this thing work is, if the deadline is 15th, like today, I'll give 10 as the deadline. So 10 is your deadline. So actual deadline is not 10, it is 15. So they maybe won't finish. Usually this works with us, like our supervisor usually do this with us. Not all the supervisor, sometimes. Okay. Like they ask us to do work like this. They know that we are kind of lazy, procrastinating people. So they expect us to, there will be some incomplete works and pending works and everything. So when we go with that they will say, okay, we have some more days to do, finish within that. So anyway, we entered we reached that deadline. We couldn't finish it, but gave some more time. So definitely we will finish. Okay, because that guilt, or that kind not guilt, a kind of responsibility. We feel that over responsibility at that time. So that also work deadline in company in multinational MNCs also you can see that managers or boss will give the deadline beforehand, and it would be actually it won't be a actual deadline. It will be, but sometime it will counter react also. That will be the actual deadline. We won't be knowing, and they won't be communicating also. So that will be actually deadline and we won't be knowing. So it can counter reactors. So these are the different techniques of compliance. Clear with everyone? Foot in the door, low ball technique, door in the face. That's not all. Playing hard to get and deadline technique. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So now
Yes, sir.
we
Yes,
will.
sir.
Okay. Thank you so much. Now we discuss the next topic. Competition. Okay. So competition and cooperation. This is also another way of another form of social influence. Okay, remember there is what we are discussing is social influences. Okay, we get social influences. Sometimes I forget. Yeah, social influences. In that there are different kinds of social influence. The first one we discussed is conformity. The first one was conformity. The second one was what?
Compliance.
Yeah, compliance. The next one is what? Competition, then,
Cooperation.
then cooperation. So these are different kinds of social influence. Okay, conformity, we know, we studied what is conformity and how it works. If yeah, I hope that you all remember. So conformity is there. Then we have now discussed compliance. What is concerns that through an expectation or through an request, either through an expectation or either through a request, we make other person or other group do something. Okay, that is compliance. So now we will discuss competition and cooperation. Okay. So competition, we have studied competition mostly using the concept of the process called games. Okay. So game is something human themselves created. It's not developed by any sociologist or any psychologist or anyone. Humans started playing each other, and then they came norms for rules and norms for the games. So a part of norms and rules, and in some games there will be winning, some games there will be not the kind of not. Some games is absolute win. Some there will be two group or three group, whatever the group, there will be a winner and there will be a single winner. And some groups there will be not that much victory, kind of single victory or something, that we will be sharing some other thing. So there is competition, cooperation. These two things we can observe, we can find in the process of game. So if you want to know the quality of competitions or the quality of cooperation, their skill for competition, skill for cooperation, we engage them with the games, different kinds of games. So how we studied games, how we understood competition and cooperation using games. So games can be divided into two things. One person game, and there is nothing like and more than one person or more than two person. Okay. So there is one person and more than two person game. In some games there will be only one winner. For example, if you are taking gambling, so in gambling, there is individual thing. So there is only one winner. There is no two winner. There is no three winner. There is only one winner. So competition will be high in such kind of games. Okay, one person game. But if we are taking football or cricket, such kind of thing, there exists competition. Okay, there exists the competitive behavior is there because there will be two groups. Okay, two groups, but no two person. So in such kind of games, the cooperation will be the most important part also within the group. So, but at same time, there can be some changes also can happen. So this is one way that we use games to study the competition and cooperation behavior one way. So the another one is perfect information and imperfect information. Okay. So the perfect information is like in perfect information, like for example in chess kind of games, like single player games like that, that informations are not informations are invisible to other people, but only known to the person who is playing. So that is what called perfect information. Okay, remember, the person who is playing or person who is engaging in the game, the person that the winning victory of that game is only dependent on one person, and there is only one victor, one person gain. So in such kind of things, that perfect information, we won't be able to know the movements. And another one is imperfect information. Imperfect information, the players who are engaged in the game, not only their movement or not only their information will influence the game. It is influenced by other people's knowledge also. So it is a kind of imperfect information who are engaged in the game and people who are outside also. So if we are looking like chess, recently, like we have a lot of chess masters, international things we have got for India. So we don't know the movements, what will be the next movement in the chess, the person. Only the person who is playing knows. So we also can't predict the game. Okay. But at the case of imperfect information, for example, a cricket or a football, we are getting informations from other people because the moment of other people, their performance and everything is important. And it is also same with the people who are playing. They also don't have the actual complete information of what they are engaging with. So the information from the other person is also important to win the game. Okay, so that is the other way of understanding the distinction in games. And then another one is zero sum games and non zero sum games. Okay. So zero sum games and non-zero sum games, again, zero sum games and individual individual victory is the final victory. Okay, the individual victory will be the final victory, and there are non-zero sum games, which is that there won't be any that because of a person or something, the person can't claim or anything. That non-zero thing. It's a shared thing. Remember, we are studying social psychology, so our unit is a individual. Always keep an individual in your mind, and we are all whatever we are talking here is regarding with individual behavior. Okay, so if a person is playing single against another single person, that winning and losing is the absolute victory there. Okay, but in some cases, even the person not doing well, or if the group doesn't do well, it won't affect that much to the person. Obviously, it will affect, but it's a non-zero sum game. It is not completely put on one person. Clear? Is it clear?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So there are some dilemmas, some other points. Any doubt? Any questions? Shall we move to the next, like another content?
Yes, sir.
So another concept that coming under prisoners competition and competition is prisoner's dilemma. Okay. So prisoner's dilemma means when a person gets into a panic situation or a high pressure, high end pressure situation, they will having a kind of unstable situation, and there will be a confusion whether they go with their individualistic behavior or with the other. It may be the group. If you are taking a group like a football, cricket kind of thing, that is the one way. Like when they are getting under a lot of pressure, either they can go with the group's decision, cooperate, or they may go with their individualistic behavior. In the case of one-person games, when they get into the panic situation or something, either they can choose to behave as an individualistic behavior as or clutch on the professional identity and follow the protocol and model code of conduct and the strategies and everything and go with that. So that prisoner's dilemma, like when they get into that the panic situation or shock kind of situation, they confess or they become into their individual thing. So such kind of things can also happen with in the competition and cooperation situation. So like in the gaming situation, that when they get into a panic situation or a high pressure situation, there will be a dilemma between go with their their instinct, or wait for the group's command, or wait for the next move, something like that. Okay. But so in prisoner's dilemma, there is a some factors they have explained which uh, which, which enhance or strengthen, which is pro or anti behavior, social behavior, pro and anti social behavior. Some so all the time this can't be true because not true about pro-social behavior and antisocial behavior. Antisocial behavior doesn't mean violent behavior. Antisocial behavior means going against the norm, simply. Okay, so it depends on what kind of norm. If the authority they are going against is higher, then the consequences will be higher. So antisocial behavior means going rebelling against authority or norms or rules. And pro-social behavior is compelling or having a compliance to the social norms and cultural and all kind of things, and having the behavior. So we call it pro-social behavior and anti-social behavior. So there are four factors that determine pro-social or anti-social behavior. So first one they are saying is empathy. Second one is social definition of reality. And the third one is cause and reward and norms. So among these, empathy have less influence on all among all the four factors. Empathy have the less influence. It's more of in some situations it's more related with the cost and reward. But basically, cost and reward means you can say it as consequences also. Okay, so consequences of our behavior. So even and social definition of reality, context technically. Simple term we can say is social context or social context we can say. So social definition of reality, what kind of situation that a person is dealing with, existing or engaging now, right now, and what, where, everything, that actual social reality. Okay, it comes with the norms. So what is the rules and regulations? What can norms is technically unwritten laws, we can say. Okay, unwritten laws that also comes. Written norms are written rules also, and it can be unwritten also. That is norms, and norms are become our uh, old norms are now becomes the rules and regulations. Okay, and some norms we go against some norms also. That also happens with by law. Certain practices we also go. So social definition of reality, cost and reward and norms. So these things mostly again along with empathy. Okay. So empathy is there. In some case, empathy exists, but not all the time. But social definition of reality, the social context, cost and reward, the consequences, what they will get, and the norms. So these things determine pro and anti-social behavior also. Okay. So these are the factors. So in prisoner's dilemma also, this works. Clear? Or you want
Yes,
me
sir.
to explain it little? Okay, okay. Thank you.
Sir, in prisoner's dilemma, the players are playing competitive or cooperative?
If they go, if in a cooperative way, everything will work good. What if someone goes competitive? Okay, if supposed to be cooperative, but it is going competitive, uh, that also happens. So in such kind of situation, these things determine whether whether they will go again, not go against, whether they will go with their individual thing or the group or the game, the social. So we can dissect that with these things actually. So social definition of reality, social context. So if it is a club football, like a hometown or something like a small game or something, the social definition of reality, that reality's definition in the society is not that much value. It's a small competition, no, it is not covered by media, or there is not a lot of audiences. So it's a small thing, and the consequences also may be less. Okay, the reward may be less, cost will be less, and the norms also note that like you will get a debar, you will get banned for next 5 years. Nothing like norms are there. So if the readings are coming like this, yes, there is a chance of the person who getting into the prisoner's dilemma go with their individualistic thing. Okay, but if you are taking international game, so the definition of the social definition of the reality, the social context is higher. It's a big, so it have a big value, it's have a big meaning and everything, and then cost and reward is higher. The consequences, the the value of consequences is high, whether it is a reward or it's a punishment. And the norms are very strict and raw. If they go against, they will get banned or something like that. So along with the empathy somewhere that thing exists, but it is also there. We can't deny that. Empathy is feeling for the others, or you can feel self-empathy also, for the other things. So when all these things comes, uh, when we read all these things in international game, the person mostly go with their groups of the teams demand of their professional code of conduct rather than going with their individualistic thing or the vice versa. But these things, using these things, we can predict, or we can assess, or we can understand that competition or cooperation within the game, when a person is in prisoner's dilemma, that they are having a kind of instability between the individualistic or personal and professional, or individualistic and the group thing, and some we can we can predict, or we can identify using these things. But again, in this context, in a big social context, big international kind of thing, and big post and big norms, even if they go with their individualistic, that's a unique. That is something unique. Okay, something new. So we can't predict also. Maybe the person is having expertise, or it's a luck. No, we can't say it luck. It's like experiment, kind of experimenting. So not that much care, doesn't give that much weight of social definition of reality and positive reward as a person. So yeah, so these things we can use to analyze a person's dilemma in the group when they have this contradiction. Am I clear? Clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
I hope everyone understood, because it can be little confusing. We have discussed a little. No. So we have a little bit more time. So another after prisoner's dilemma, other one that is talking in your book is other concern and communication. Okay, so other concern and communication, concern to another person, or concern for oneself, like concern. So concern for another person, concern for oneself, or concern for the group, or such things can also interfere in these things, or concern for one's image or one's team's image or group image or such things. So concern, not anxiety, not worrying, not fear, concern. Okay. So concern that have a very important role in the process of gain. Okay, concern that that also have influence over competition and cooperation. Concerns, then communication. If clear the communication, better the game. If not that clear communication, there will be a problem. Simple. And the another important thing, the behavior of others. Behavior of others. So so in game or in competition or competition cooperation, when we study that using games, the other person's response is very important. How the other person responds is very important. That will determine the whether they go for the competitive state of mind or cooperative state of mind or flexibling between the both. Depends. So the psychologists have identified a lot of strategies. Among that strategies, there is two highly successful strategies that we will discuss here. One is reformed sinners strategy, and another one is deterrent strategy. So the principle of reciprocity that we have explained later in the initial phase in the situation, reciprocity. That if we get something, we will have the tendency to give them something. Principle of reciprocity. If you get something, you give something. Give and take policy. Okay. That principle of reciprocity get cancelled out in the context of competition. So gain, in the context of gain. Okay. Not competition, cooperation, gain. In the context of gain, there is a possibility of cancelling out of the principle of reciprocity, or the possibility of reciprocal behavior. So so such things can happen. Okay, so in gain, no, not all the time reciprocity works, because the need of the game is, or the purpose of the game is completely different. That is what we were discussing. So among when the this principle of reciprocity is not expecting, or the expectation, that kind of thing is not existing, there is it's a open space. There is nothing technically. If the principle of reciprocity, that give and take kind of thing, is not existing, the people are free to do anything in the space. You're right. They are not obliged to do something. They are not compelled to do something. There is nothing. There is no compliance. There is nothing like that. The space is free. If the principle of reciprocity is not existing, it's cancelled. So the reformed senior strategy is initially they may go with the competitive strategy, but after some time they will start with the cooperation. So maybe the other person may get confused, but initially they go with the competitive kind of aspects when in the group thing. And in that competitive kind of thing, they are doing better, they are doing good. And later they are showing the cooperation also. Then the bond will enhance. Okay, that will enhance the bond between the people or between the members, and it will also enhance the other person to cooperate. Okay, because first it was kind of hard to get kind of thing, very competitive kind, and then they are having a cooperation. So the other person will have a kind of tendency to having a cooperation, and they will their performance will also get enhanced. Okay, so that is reformed sinners strategy. Okay, reformed sinners strategy. Then deterrent strategy is it's like if there is any non-cooperative participants or non-cooperative members or something, the person will threaten or hostile or something. They will do. They will show that kind of responses, and also they will counter attack when the subject attack in the sense when they do something. But after a point, after some time, the person started showing kind of cooperation. The other person will start also having cooperation because the threat is not there. They feel a relief, and they are in a competition setting, so there is no time for revenge. And the threat is not there. And if you are cooperating, when you are cooperating, there is no threat, so you won't get attacked. So that is one deterrent strategy. So this is two kind of strategies that are highly successful in the games when we look at competition and cooperation behavior of people. Okay, there is actually more. We will discuss it tomorrow. Actually, there is more topic, more content. But I will stop with here. The behavior of the others, reform the sinner strategy, and deterrent strategy. That two concepts clear to everyone? Any doubt? Any questions?
No, sir.
Everyone is clear.
Good afternoon, sir. Is there any
Good
WhatsApp group for the first year, sir?
Yes, there is.
Sir, could you please send us the link?
Can
Actually,
anyone in the group please give the link of the WhatsApp group? Share. There are people from that university campus, no, that offline campus. So can you
Madam,
share the...
sir, madam, you can attend the next class. So one of the faculty is the admin for that group. So then in that class we will request in psychopathology class. Now we will request him to add. Okay, madam.
okay, sir.
Right. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
So we will meet on the next class tomorrow. Please everyone read and come. Otherwise it will be blank. We will see tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
you,
you,
sir.
everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.